Hello, my name is Ashley Bishop. This is Coach's Corner. I'm here this week sitting down with Coach Ross Jatkola. He's the head football coach here at Barnstable. And we're just going to have a chat about the season and his upcoming home game on Friday. So thanks for being here, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so off to a really good start this year after a really strange year last year. Obviously, you guys played in the spring, had kind of a strange schedule, but it seems like your guys really responded to that and, found a way to be motivated for this year. How do you think they did that?
I think it's just, we have a big senior class, kids that are excited to be here, had a great summer in the weight room, and I think just a lot was taken from them last year, so they want to make the most of this year.
Great. So opened up with a big win against a really tough Brockton team on the road, and then a tough loss last week to Reading, who is in the top 10 in the state. So you had to be pretty happy with how the guys have performed thus far.
Yeah, we're real happy. I think there was a lot of expectations for this group, and so far they're living up to it. We've been on the road twice at two historically, great venues against really good programs, and for us to play as well as we have in the first 2 weeks on the road is something to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean, you put up 52 points in the first game. So what are the keys to have that offensive power on your team?
I think we're senior heavy in the backfield and up front as well, and having three dynamic runners, having Eugene Jordan back, who was the player of the year in the league last year, and just having continuity in the offense. They've been in the offense for 4 years now, and they know the system, so we're able to play fast at moments when teams are on their heels, and the kids responded. The offensive line has been tremendous. They've been working really hard, and yeah, we've just been able to attack teams' weaknesses, and we were able to exploit some things on opening night against Brockton. We would have liked to have scored a little bit more week 2. But Reading had made some good adjustments. We had some good drives. We had some chances to punch them in, but we just got to finish those drives moving forward.
Great. So this week, BR, which traditionally has been a football powerhouse in the past, seems like they've had kind of a rough start to their season, but you're coming home finally. There's going to be fans. There's going to be a student section, so your guys must be excited for that. What are your expectations for this Friday?
Well, BR is a huge game for Barnstable. I know even when I took the job here, the alumni are always excited about the BR game. It goes back, so many years. It's been an awesome tradition. It's usually a game that has playoff implications as well. So even though they're off to an 0-2 start, we can't take them lightly. They do have a great tradition. They have a ton of athletes. Their numbers are really high. They have depth. So they've played two tough opponents in Duxbury and Zavarian. So we know we have our hands full with them. And I think, the excitement of coming home, it's going to be senior night, it's going to be youth night out in the beautiful brand new stadium that we have. I think the kids will be really excited about that. And really the first time we've been able to play in front of a student section in 2 years.
Right.
So we were home a couple of times last year, but it wasn't the same without our fans. And our kids always seem to shine when we have the student body out there supporting us.
Right. Yeah, from what I hear, they're going to show up, so that's
Yeah.
exciting. So after this week, you start to get into your league schedule. Obviously, you're in the Cape and Islands Atlantic. What are the league prospects this year? Kind of hard to tell after last year, but what are your expectations in league play?
Our expectation is always to win the league, and we talk about that, and it seems like it's another year that should be something that we are able to accomplish. Usually, the rivalry with Falmouth is huge, and doesn't matter what your records are when you play that game, because it's such a big rivalry that we always have to be ready for that. And I think DY over the last 20 years has become a pretty awesome rivalry as well. Mm-hmm. So no matter your record going into that game, we have to be prepared for them. They do a bunch of great things, and they're always well coached, and they're always fired up for this game. And Nauset, we have to travel down to Nauset, and they're off to a slow start, but I think they're well coached, and Bruce has done a good job with their program. So we're excited for league play, but we scheduled, heavy out-of-league opponents to make sure we're prepared to win the league and make a run in the playoffs when that comes.
Right. Well, the playoffs are going to look a little different for everybody this year, like across every sport. So it's basically like a straight ranking, like a power ranking. So it kind of like you're not sure. It could be a team not in the South. It could be a team you've never even heard of that you're facing. What are your? I know it's early, but like your expectations. Like you think you're a playoff bound team, and you think the new system is something that's going to work to your advantage.
Yeah, I think the Division II has always been, a battle. And some people will even say that our division is the best division in the state because it's not as top heavy as, say, Division I with the Catholics and things like that. So I think we saw, a team last week that, has goals of winning a state championship in our division, and we did too at the beginning of the year, and we were able to, hang with them until the last minute. So we think we're a playoff team. We think if we see a team like Reading in the playoffs again, that we'll feel confident in a game like that. But Division II is loaded. Mansfield hasn't lost a game in like 3 years.
Right.
Marshfield's on a tear right now. Catholic Memorial's in Division II now, which is interesting.
Right.
So that'll put a different spin on things. But we have a pretty good idea of what the Division II layout is, because going to the playoffs the last few years, facing Mansfield, facing Wellesley, facing King Philip, we've been to those stadiums and played there, and we've played pretty well in some of them. So we have experience in Division II, and I think going to Reading early in the season, a 2.5-hour ride, gets our kids a little familiar with a playoff atmosphere going on the road. So if we do have to go somewhere, say out in Springfield or something like that, we're preparing for that, and that's why we set up the schedule the way we did.
Great. I guess like outside of football or outside of like the field of play, it seems like your team has done more in recent years to be more engaged with the community. I see you do like volunteering on Main Street. You did like a little mini golf thing with the youth. Obviously, Youth Night is tomorrow. Why do you think that's like such an important element in your program, and what does it do for your kids?
I think it's just, we talk about it all the time, how we handle ourselves in the community and how we handle ourselves in the school, and that, being a part of a football program is much bigger than football. And I think if you look at the successful programs, those kids buy into the whole town, the whole community, the whole school. And that was something that I really wanted to do when I took the job here, was make sure that we were giving back to the community that has given us so much over the years, and that we're making a difference outside of just the games on Friday nights, and that we're reaching out to the youth, and we're touching on subjects like mental health and things like that, which we'll be doing again Saturday. Last year we had our first mental health awareness cleanup, which you're kind of doing two things at one time. You're helping clean up the community, you're getting out on Main Street and making sure that things are taken care of that way, but you're grabbing the youth players and making sure they're okay, and teaching them that we play football and it's a physical game, but like we got to check in with each other and make sure everyone's all right, and especially with everything going on in the world today, that we're doing those things too, and taking care of our mental health, and teaching the younger kids that, hey, we have problems too. It's okay to talk to someone, and if you want to talk to one of our players or one of our coaches, we want to be an outlet for people in the community to be a support system.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, sports are such a good like outlet for a lot of those things, and a way to bridge a lot of different issues. So it's great that your guys are excited about that and that element of your program. I guess the last question, what do you think is the hardest thing about being a football coach in like this day and age? Obviously like things have changed a lot even in the past couple years. I know a lot of programs have like lower numbers than they've ever had before, freshman teams and small JV teams, but it seems like you've been able to kind of sustain, despite what's going on in the outside world. But what do you think is like the most challenging thing?
That's a pretty loaded question.
Or like one of the most challenging things.
There's football in general, I think, is taking a hit, and you'll see that across the state and probably New England, and across the country. And it's just how you approach certain things, with concussions and the safety of the game. So the number one concern when you're talking about numbers is parents are really concerned with player safety. So I think we've done a really good job of developing a strength and conditioning program that keeps our kids safe and healthy going into each season. So we haven't seen as many injuries as some other programs have. I think that we do a good job as a staff of teaching the proper techniques when tackling and when blocking, and we take the time to work with the youth as well, with the youth program, the Silver Bullets, on how they're tackling and blocking, so they're doing it safe, so we're limiting injuries there, and the parents see us making an effort to do so. I think, COVID put a whole spin on everything as well, which is we had a bunch of momentum going until COVID, and now that's added a whole different element of issues. And I think just society and kids and just being a little bit more lenient with certain things. Like, kids have to work now. There's things going on at home, and kids are dealing, like we talked about before, with mental health issues that we haven't seen as much in the past, and kind of being there for them and being lenient with things when they're dealing with things, instead of just it's our way or the highway. And when the kids see that you care about them, I think they want to be a part of a program like that. Yeah, but I think, there's a lot of people that complain about, how kids are these days and things like that I don't think is really true. If you're taking the time to get to know the kids want discipline, the kids want to play, they want to be a part of something that's bigger than them. So right. I think we've done a good job of making them feel that way. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Coach, well, thanks so much for sitting down and talking with us. Good luck on Friday. Tomorrow, big home game. We're all excited to see what happens. My name is Ashley Bishop, and this has been the most recent episode of Coach's Corner. Big football game tomorrow, BR, 6:30 p.m. Be sure to watch if you can't attend on Barnstable B2B's YouTube page. Thanks so much.